everyone, my name is MJ Vilches and welcome to part 5 of the creation process of our entry for this month's hashtag TUCArt challenge, the Underline Chronicles Art Challenge, where I am creating artworks based on some events from the book, uh, Gregor and the Prophecy of Bane by Suzanne Collins, because for this year I'm working on book 2. And yeah, for this part, we are going to proceed to lighting our comic cinematic. So yeah, without further ado, let's go to Blender and start putting our lights on our scene. So yeah, this video may not be that as long as the previous ones, because lighting is not that difficult. Just have to position some lights on our scenes here so that it looks nice for the final render. So let's check first if everything's nice and good in the stream. It is. So I'm gonna just go on and hope that some people will join in soon. But yeah, I'm gonna start just lighting this comic cinematic up. So I think I'm gonna keep the HDRI that was set up here on a previous stream, which is the Moonless Gulf 2K HDR from HDRI Haven. You can just grab this and use it in any way that you want, even commercially, because that's how awesome the ones who made this texture is. Guy from HDRI Haven, which I don't know the name is. I'm really sorry about that. So yeah, to light this up, I need to determine what our scene is, and since I've read the book and I kind of have an idea where they are and what lights they use, the first thing I'm going to add are 2 torches, like right here, off camera. So I'm gonna start with 1, and before adding any light objects there, I'm gonna go to camera and I'm gonna add a new location, new collection, and I'm gonna rename that collection lighting, and this is where we're gonna put all of our lighting in this collection right here. So I'm just gonna save, Shift A, I'm gonna add light, set it to point. So point light works really nice on grease pencil objects, but I need to make it really bright. So I'm gonna go with 2000, and as you can see, you can already see like an effect there happening. It's even affecting our 3D whirlpool there. I'm gonna set this to a kind of yellow-orange color for the torch. There you go, and it would look really nice on the rope as well, right here. So it's causing like a nice ambient lighting on our 2D grease pencil, because that's the best thing about using grease pencil object in Blender. It's just set the light. The 3D light also affects the 2D, objects. So I'm just gonna use that 1 light there, maybe make it brighter, because this is a torch, like a really strong torch on the boat. And then I'm gonna Shift D that. I'm gonna go to top view here. I'm gonna Shift D this and put it right here. Do we have? No, we don't have the proportional editing on, so we're fine. I'm just gonna move this right here, the other torch. And what kind of effect does that give? I'm gonna set this to 1000 maybe. Just to make it not that powerful. So yeah, what's going on here? Everything should be fine here. Let's see, let me just check something here. Okay, never mind. I guess we're good. I wonder if, because I set up some stuff in the stream and I might have changed some settings. Anyways, we're gonna keep going here. We have 1 light, 1 torch light right there. Assume that this is a torch light, and 1 right here. Let me just move it so that it actually has an effect on our artwork. So I'm gonna go 2000 again, because we're starting to not see it, and that should do it, I think. So we have a nice lighting going on. We know where the light is coming from. From this, we can now go on and maybe add one more. I'm gonna add one more, like from the top, like right here. And I'm not gonna make that yellow. I'm gonna make that kind of bluish, so that, you know, as you can see, it affects the color of our whirlpool here, which is what the aim is. I can make it even more stylized by going like different colors here. I'm gonna make it brighter so it's visible, maybe 8,000. But that's just too bright. We don't want that because they are supposed to be underground where there's not much light hitting them. So I'm gonna go with a blue here, or a greenish. No, blue. Blue for the water. So blue and kind of orange. It's like a blue and orange are complementary colors, I think. Yeah. So that may be a wise decision to make that blue there. So we're gonna stick with that for now. And I'm just gonna try changing the opacity of this water effect that we have for a whirlpool. And maybe keep it, nope, maybe 0.75 for the opacity. 0.75. So now we can start. We have our lighting. There's a nice lighting going on. What we can do to add more to this is, of course, shadow. So because we're going to be doing some lighting and shading. And for this stream, I'm only going to be adding shadows for Gregor and the boat. I'm just going to do the shadow for Twitch tip off recording, because it's just going to be a repeating process anyway. And that's just a tedious process. So yeah, first we're going to start with Gregor here. Now, but we might have a problem here because it might not align, because I did some stuff. Okay, may have a problem, but I'm gonna keep going as if we don't. So I'm gonna go add a new layer right here. I'm gonna call this Gregor shadow, and what we're doing is we're just gonna draw some shadows on Gregor here. So because we know where the light is, then we know where we can add the shadows. So the strongest light that's hitting Gregor is coming from this direction. So I'm gonna go Control Tab. Probably need to go to this first so that it doesn't lag that much. And I'm just gonna add shadows in Gregor. And I'm also, before drawing, actually I'm gonna check mask here, and I'm gonna use Gregor fill as the mask. What that does is that even if I draw from outside here of the Gregor's fill, you know, it won't. I can just do something like this, and it like covers up Gregor here, and it doesn't come out where the Gregor fill layer isn't. So that's what the mask is doing, which makes, you know, shading easy. I'm just gonna Control Z that because we're not supposed to use that material for this. We're supposed to use something that is dark, and we'll need to make another material for that. So I'm gonna create a new material, call it shadow, and do open surface, uncheck stroke, check fill, and since it's by default it's black, we don't have to change the color. So I'm gonna draw that shadow again right here, and just add shadow on Gregor like that. I can then go to the layers here of the shadow and set this to, I can set this to multiply, and just reduce the opacity by about 0.65 maybe. And that should be just the right amount of shadow for Gregor here. I'm gonna add a shadow right there. I'm also gonna do the same thing here because this is a curving object. I'm also gonna add some shadows for the creases, and I might have to add more shadow for the creases, like where the rope area is, because this is the part where the clothes would be creasing a lot. And since the shadow, I might have to go like this for the shadow of the rope, for the shadow of this like big rope right here. Or maybe I could just leave that. Suspension of disbelief kind of thing. So I'm gonna put shadow right here. Below the shirt. Right there. So I'm just drawing over some parts where the shadow needs to be. So I'm gonna add some shade right here. Like so. And I can even just do something like this for the ropes. Like that. Maybe more shadow right here. This part below the ropes. Like that. And this one right here. Wait. There we go. Looking nice. So just doing shadow right there. I probably need to change to like a bigger workspace like that, so that it's easy for you guys to see. And hopefully the stream is still fine. It should still be fine. You shouldn't have to worry about anything, because nobody's watching anyway. But yeah, let me just add more shadows here. There's gonna be shadow for like this side part of the body here. This one as well. This whole part will be in shadow, I think. Like so. Gonna cover this part in shadow. Maybe just the tip right there, because that's gonna be hit by the light. This one as well. So I'm gonna go something like that. I'm gonna put under shadow like this part right here. And something like this. And I think this whole part of the boots right here. Just do this, and almost immediately that will, this shade shadows really just improves 2D drawings, you know. And doing it, but you have to like do it right, otherwise it won't look as great. And I'm trying to make it as minimal as possible, kind of like if I'm going to actually animate this, it would be simple, because in anime they kind of cheat on the shadow, I think, in animation, in 2D animation. I think they cheat a lot in the shadow, and I think it's necessary to make productions, you know, faster. But you know, sometimes you don't really have to be too detailed about something to make it work when it comes to animation, especially for fast motion. For now, you know, we're gonna keep it simple, even if it's not really moving that much, because that's the kind of style that I want to achieve for this. So we have the arm right here, shoulder maybe in shadow, like the upper part right there. Then I can shadow this part of the arm or shoulder, and then this part, this whole part right here is covered in shadow, because the light again comes from there. So already you can see like some depth happening. Depth, it adds to shadow a lot, adds a lot of depth to our artwork. I'm just gonna go and do that. Add some shading below the bandage right here. Below right here. And the shadow right there. This whole part should be lit, and maybe the inside part of the knuckles here is not, so I'm just gonna go with that, something like that. Maybe like this forefinger would already be in shadow. So there we go. I think just for the shadow, Gregor, that already looks nice. If we look at that in rendered view, I think you can like see how awesome it would look. So yeah, look at that. I just looking at Gregor already looks real nice. I can even go so far as to just select Gregor here, go to effect, I'm gonna add effect, and as usual, in how I do my comic cinematic, I always add like a rim effect, like that. And I'm gonna increase the blur. I'm gonna set the samples to a lot, like to bigger. I'm gonna set the samples to 50. Just to make it, you know, probably bring it back a bit, like so. And I need to make the blur even more intense here. Probably change this to, no, that's too much. Yeah, probably just like that. Probably bring it back to x-axis a bit more. So yeah, as you can see, looking great. Yeah, maybe a white works for this instead of yellow. Yellow is just too painful. White works here. Might set it to add. Yeah, I'm gonna set it to add, and then nah, add is awful. Overlay, and set it to white. I'm gonna bring it back to white. And there we go. Now I can move on and add some shadows for the boat. So the boat, it's just the same thing. Just gonna go add a layer on top of the fin and fill boat actually, and call this shadow boat. Shadow boat. I'm gonna lock all of the other layers, and I can start adding some shadows for the boat. And for this, I will need to set the passive part out to lower, so that we can really see the boat right here. So we have the boat. Selecting the boat, I need to add a shadow material for this as well. We don't have to make another one. We can just use the ones that we already used on the other objects. Go back to shadow boat here. I'm just gonna go back to the material preview here, and let's add some shadows for the boat. So for the boat, just, you know, this whole thing I think will be in shadow. Okay, that's not what I want to do. Maybe something like this. I need to be okay. I can just go to edit mode, and actually I could just leave it like this. Select everything, bring that back a bit, like that. And there you go. I actually need to make another one. Let's set this to 0.65 as well. I'm gonna make another one on top of the fill fin actually. Call this shadow 2. And I'm just gonna go and do something like this. I actually need to set the mask of this to fill fin. And then just do something like this, I guess. Or maybe just cover the whole thing in shadow, like that. And then 0.65. And then I'm gonna go to rendered view again and add a rim effect for the boat. So add rim. Let me just move it a bit. It should be like just that part right there. For some reason, it's affecting the 3D object. Huh. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's like reacting to the 3D object as well. That's gonna be annoying. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, the rim effect is like being a, let's see if it's affected in the rendered view, in the rendered result. So I'm just gonna quickly render this, which is probably not gonna be quick. Ah, yeah, it's included right here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I might get rid of the rim. Yeah, I might get rid of the rim for a boat. For now. I can also possibly do something like this. I'm gonna add effect, shadow. Yeah, I can definitely add shadow. Yeah, it really is affected by the rope for some reason. Huh. It's probably you know, I'm gonna add a shadow, set this to 100, maybe even higher than that, 500, just so we don't see the shadow. And add a wave effect because you know it's the sea, and it's not even that visible. Never mind. So shadow color right there. I can probably make this bluish or greenish, and I need to move it further because it's supposed to be far away from the water. Shadow of the boat right there. I'm also gonna do the same thing for Gregor here. Add a shadow effect and put that really far away. Wait, I'm changing the rim. That's not good. Control Z. I'm just gonna do something like this. I can probably try and use the camera as the pivot object pivot, but that's probably a bad idea. Never mind. What I can probably do is Shift S cursor to selected here. I can probably use that point. Let me try using that point as a pivot object. Using that light. Ooh. There we go. Ah, but I need it to move, so I will need to add Shift S cursor to selected. I'm gonna add an empty here. Empty plane axis. Just call this pivot, or you know, pivot shadow. Select Gregor again. I'm gonna set that as our pivot, and I'm also gonna be animating this so that it moves. And apparently it doesn't. Huh. It doesn't move. It doesn't affect the... I did set this to be the object pivot, right? Do I need to always update? Yeah, I need to always update. I'm gonna try something. Control P. Need to always do that uncheck check thing. It will only probably update when I render. Yeah, I'm gonna do something like this. We're gonna find out soon enough when I render this. So we have our object pivot here. I'm gonna parent this to the camera. So select the empty, select the camera, Control P, object keep transform. So when the camera moves, it should also move, I think. As you can see, the shadow is also moving. But we don't want the shadow to be that sharp, so we're gonna have to go and blur it. 10, 100, 100 pixels for the shadow, which really looks nice. Maybe we can go up 300. I don't think the wave effect will have that much of an effect to it, but let's see. Let's see the like really bumping it up. Oh, it kind of has an effect now. You can even animate that so that it changes each time. But yeah, I think that's it for now on the lighting. We managed to light this up nicely, and it looks great. So yeah, is the shadow like on top? Let me just. Yeah, the shadow is actually affecting layers below, like 3D objects. I mean, 2D objects below the others. So Twitch tip should be also affected by the. Maybe not. Anyways, I think that's all for now. We did some lighting, and it's looking good. If we look at the 2D full canvas here, set this to rendered view. I also need to actually set the camera passe part out to 1, just so we don't see what's outside the camera and we only see, our work here. So it looks nice. We have lighting going on, Whirlpool. On the next part, which will be tomorrow, we are going to do some animation. So yeah, for this part, we did the lighting. It's quick, it's easy. I am not seeing my shadow anymore. What happened here? It's probably on a different frame. Yeah, we put our shadow like at the end of the frame there, which is not supposed to be the thing. I'm also gonna put that right in frame 1 so that it's visible throughout the entire thing. Yeah. 2D full canvas. You can see we have a nice shadow going on for Gregor. So yeah, I think that's all for now. Thank you so much for those who watched on the stream, by the way, and to you who watched this on YouTube up to this point. Hopefully I've shared enough knowledge for you to be able to do stuff like this yourself. And yeah, that's all. A huge thanks to those who supported me through KoFi, to Handsomeness, Jubin, yaejinssi, Erick Madrigal, to Elizabeth Munie, to Magnolia Weathershield, ZQ Star, Jade, Tristan Wintle, Mbuddy, GulliermoGage. Thank you so much for your support. You supported me through code.s3.com/Productions. And yeah, if you want to give me support, this is the best place to do it. My KoFi page. And yeah, follow Doodlenose Productions everywhere on the internet. And that's all for this part. My name is MJ Vilches. And yeah, bye.